I call it verbal awareness, how conscious language affects business leadership and affects quite everything in our life with everyone we interact with. So why this topic? The words that most people use on a daily basis can often affect their personal and professional life with a less than favorable outcome versus the one they really had anticipated and intended. The language you use in creating the most positive outcome boils down to so much more than tone, pitch, and projection when expressing your thoughts. The words we use can either move us toward or away from what we want. We have loads of examples to share with you. Stick with me. Let's talk about what you want others to do, what you want others to hear, what you want others to feel, what you yourself want to think and feel, what action you want to take, what action you want others to take. If you describe what you want in terms of what you don't want, what do you think you're going to get? Before we get into it, you might be wondering, what's a nice guy like me doing in a business like this? Why would I be even talking about this subject at all? Well, here's the short version. I'm a UC Santa Barbara grad who cut my teeth in Southern California and Silicon Valley tech. Along the way, I devoured every personal development workshop and book that I could find. I started making real money, though, when I launched BizPlan Builder, a powerful business planning and investor pitch software system that helps inventors make sense to investors to raise capital. And that's evolved into my company, Business Power Tools. Around the same time, I began training in martial arts. I discovered some powerful parallels. My book, Business Black Belt, blends 40 plus years of personal development, martial arts, and real world business success into a practical blueprint for managing and building companies. What I did was translate the insights from those workshops, the woo-woo and the practical, into concepts that actually move the business forward. This whole series here about words is but one pattern I've realized by listening to a lot of people. If God, the universe, and now AI were to deliver exactly what you specify the way you say it, well, now you'll know why. I want to help you speak clearly and say what you mean authentically so you shape the mental and emotional responses you intend. So pay attention to this talk. I'll share ideas you can take into the world and profit from to make a difference. It's crucial that your innovations succeed in our world and be profitable and sustainable without you losing control, your mind, or your shirt. Let's get into it. I've been hearing for years that words make up 7% of our communication, our tonality makes up 38%, and our body language makes up 55% of our communication effectiveness. And you'll hear this in various forms, but a lot of people have been repeating the same theory over and over and over again. In this presentation, I want to make a case for the words. To make my point, what I want to do is use the metaphor of a vegetable garden. So in your vegetable garden, let's say the seeds are 7% of the garden. Nurturing the seeds, how you water them, cultivate them, weed them, fertilize them, that's going to make 38% of the difference. And the terrain, of course, where you plant your garden. Is it in the deserts? Is it in the mountains? Is it at the beach? Is it in nice fertile ground? That makes a world of difference. But nevertheless, if you plant a corn seed, you're going to get corn. You're not going to get an apple tree. It doesn't matter where you plant it, what you do with it, where you nurture it. If it's going to grow, it's going to grow into a corn stalk no matter what you do. So the seed makes all the difference in the outcome of what it is you're actually going to grow. Just like your words make all the difference in the outcome of what you expect. Here's King Leonidas from the film 300. In terms of leadership, the words we use paint the pictures we want our people to see and trigger the emotions we want them to feel. Imagine addressing your troops before a battle. Your pep talk is the general to your 300. Every word is going to count. Your men's survival is based on it. I say that our words are our visual, visceral creations. Your words inspire pictures and emotions. You've heard before that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I would say that a word is worth 1,000 pictures. It's how you and others envision what you talk about, how people see themselves in the scene you create. Are you forwarding the action in the direction you want to go, or are you distracting people into the other directions of everywhere but where you want to go? So what do people see and feel? What action will they take? Are your words congruent with what you want? As you can see, the operative words come after the word don't. Don't think of an elephant. There he is. Don't forget your car keys. Don't forget to pick up the kids. Don't worry. Don't be late. Don't lose that. Don't miss out. All of that stuff we hear over and over again. And it's the word don't that is the trigger word for the very thing that you don't want. Some things in life I think we just have to learn the hard way. But in most cases, but maybe if you learn from this touching the hot stove, when someone said, don't touch that, and all you heard was whatever came after the word don't. In the future, when someone says don't, maybe you'll actually follow the direction and not do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to point out that really what we hear is everything but the word don't. And that's the action we take. That's the image we portray. That's the emotion we elicit from people. And that's really what people follow is everything after the don't. They don't even hear it. Here's a Google search page where I typed, don't find me a puppy. We're actually already practicing this when we talk with ourselves or someone else. But how does Google respond? Look what they write. Where to get a puppy. Images for don't find me a puppy. And there's lots of puppies. Puppies, puppies, puppies. But I said, wait, don't find me a puppy. But what did I get? Much of what this presentation is about is to support you, assist you in doing what you want, having what you want, being persuasive and having what you want happen and forward the action in the direction you want it to go without distractions. So if there's one compass point you're headed to, there's 359 other degrees that don't matter. So let's leave them out of the conversation and focus on the direction we're going and the action we want. It's the only thing that matters. In Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, the very first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Now, when I first read it, it meant to me, do what I say I'm going to do, which of course is commendable in itself. But it also goes much further with be impeccable with the words you use. And that's so much of what this whole presentation is about. I'm going to take you through a number of examples of everyday language that we use, and you're wondering why your world is the way that it is, the way we speak. I'd replace these two negative phrases right away. Think, don't disappoint me? No, make me proud. Or, I won't disappoint you. No, you'll be stoked. Here's a short list of dumb things we say, like unbelievable, unforgettable. And if someone says, calm down, has that ever really worked with anybody who is out of control? Tell them to calm down. It just makes them worse. Anyway, I'd say things like, I'm with you. Take a breath. Talk to me. No regrets. How does that really assure me of happy memories if I have no regrets? Then there's things like knock 'em dead. And then there's disposable income. I have a degree in economics. And I always wondered about disposable income. I picture throwing money down the disposal. That's crazy. And of course, then there's break a leg, which, if you get into the acting business, they're afraid of jinxing it by telling you good luck and breaking a leg even, if you're in the cast. So that's sort of a little joke about that. Yeah, baby, it's you and me against the world. You're my partner in crime. Is that really how you want it to be with the love of your life, your partner in crime? Or do you want them to be really your partner in life? A friend of mine made an offhanded remark one day. He said, I have a lot of stuff on my plate. And I just thought that's really just a bad visual. You don't want to see the visuals I found on Google when I looked this up. So I went with this one here. It's much cleaner and simpler. Anyway, we've all heard that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I'll say it again, a word is worth 1,000 pictures. When you speak to your people, you really must be mindful of the images you inspire. We all have triggers that can instantly transport us into a parallel universe. If you want to keep their attention, paint pictures that keep them with you, going in the direction you want to go. This particular statement also suggests how you feel about your activities. Really? Please spare us the disgusting visual we might envision and say something more positive like, I've got many important things to do. I think by now you're getting the idea. Weird examples from our culture used over and over again that I hear that I've gathered a list of. It's just baked into our culture. Don't look now. Don't hesitate. Don't tell me. Don't miss this opportunity. Don't do it. Killing time. I would say one of the operative words in our vocabulary is the word don't. The very next word you say is the very thing you don't want them to do. Here's something we'd all like to avoid. The bad man is pointing a gun at you. What are you going to say? Are you going to respond like they do in the movies? Don't shoot. This might even save your life someday. Say something else like, stand down, hold on. I haven't shown you where the money yet is. How often have we heard or read, don't drink and drive? Hey, don't think of an elephant. Look, if you're going to drink, wait a while, stay over. Drink, take a taxi, an Uber or a Lyft, get a ride. This just makes it sound like drinking and driving just go together. I've listened to a lot of business presentation in my experience, and it's interesting how many people really must think business is war. They'll say, we're going to capture, we're going to spearhead, we're going to tackle, thrust, make a killing. What if you said we're going to attract, engage, woo? We're going to lead, champion, compete. We're going to address, handle, take on. We're going to drive, propel, access. We're going to be wildly successful. There's so many positive ways to say what you're going to do without invoking all these different war metaphors. Now, if you want to have people you work with resonate with your war metaphors, they're going to treat you as someone they're going to capture, spearhead, tackle, thrust, or make a killing on. Go for it. But I suspect you might not want to have that going on in your business. I'll admit sometimes a negative does make a good point. And I love this image of the frog choking the stork so he doesn't get swallowed. Here's Winston Churchill with one of his famous quotes that may seem counterintuitive. If you're going through hell, keep going. Now, sometimes for marketing purposes, you'll use a negative word where it can signal a change from the familiar to a new idea. So, for example, the horseless carriage, the tubeless tire. I'm always curious about nonviolent communication. That always struck me, as something bizarre. I want it all. I think that's going a bit too far. Think about it. Do you really want it all? Where are you going to put it? Do you really have the time? What do you really want? Be specific about the things you do want that you can have, that you can do something with. I think you'll find that negative language is also filled with negative energy. For example, here we have, don't be evil. Well, remember, what if we said we're here to do good? And if you see something you think isn't right, speak up. If I really didn't want to be blamed for something, I really wouldn't want to use the word blame in my sentence, or even saying I'm not guilty. You got blame and guilt in those two. What if you just led with I'm innocent? How do you like hearing excuses when something you want done, and perhaps are paying for, doesn't get done? But look at the question we usually ask. Why didn't you do this? Really, instead of saying, how are you going to do this? Versus, why don't you? Well, what if you did something? I don't want to hear a list of excuses either way. I want to know the action they're going to take and how they're going to handle it. This has always struck me as odd. Making progress against my goals. How about making progress toward my goals? I want it so badly. How do you think this is going to play out? KNOW. I know what it looks like and I know what it means, and I know you do too. However, I know, you know what I mean? Here's something you should know. Did you know? Didn't you know? Yeah, I get it. But did you follow what I'm saying? Are you getting this? It's a word that looks like something, but it sounds differently, but the word we hear is no. How often have you heard someone say, I can't stress enough, because they're trying to really make an important point? I would say change that word to I want to emphasize, prioritize, impress upon you, because now we've just introduced stress to anchor our most important point. Obviously, I'm not the first person to come up with this whole idea about your words. For example, Norman Vincent Peale said, change your thoughts and you change your world. What exactly do we hear in our heads when we're thinking? Words. So it doesn't matter if you scream, whisper, or think them. You create images and feelings by your choices of words. As you practice all of this, you'll often find that even backspacing over a word in your mind can replace an image and a feeling with a consciously chosen word. Here are a couple of concepts I hear over and over again, like stop beating yourself up. Better to say, you know what, you'll get another opportunity. The other one I love is reckless abandon. It's like giving up. What if you could consciously abandon something? That would be more like letting it go. This presentation wouldn't be complete without addressing some profanity, the four-letter words. It seems our culture is becoming more crass every day. I think of profanity like cayenne pepper. I love cayenne pepper, but I put it on just a few things and in measured quantities. I wouldn't put it on cereal, that's for sure. But think about it. This is just lazy communication. Tell your mechanic that your car is effed up, and what's he supposed to do? Also, to be sure, I wait until the other person uses four-letter words before I start using them. And I never use them in a group presentation. You never know who might be offended. You run a much higher risk of offending than persuading. The idea of closing a sale always struck me as odd because that's actually when the work begins, is when you get the deal. But nevertheless, when you pay attention to the words you use during any sales pitch and say things like, don't wait, there's no better deal out there, look no further, you're not going to find this anywhere else. It's like you're saying elephant, elephant, elephant all over throughout your entire sales pitch. And it may become apparent why you end up with so many objections when you finally do ask for the order. This has got to be my all-time favorite. Go for broke. Wow, are you kidding me? Perhaps we'd say it a little better. I'm all in. I'm fully committed. With my luck, I'll make a fortune on this. I remember as a child having dinner with my grandmother, and she would say, save the best until last. She wanted me to eat the meat and vegetables and the potatoes last, or whatever it was, the dessert last. And how do you think that played out at the high school dance? There's the girl across the gym that I wanted to dance with. I'll save her till last. Then when I had my first job at Texas Instruments looking for customers, I had a whole list. I'll save the best until last. How do you think that played out? You really don't want the answer to this question. What's the worst that could happen? Really? Is that what you're looking for? I think of positive mental attitude kind of like driving down the road and a car wants to veer to the right or the left, and you're overcoming and holding it straight on the road. So replacing our double negatives is like getting our steering adjusted. The car will drive straight, and we won't have to overcome its negative tendencies by muscling the steering wheel. So speak to advance the ideas, forward the action desired, and enhance the direction. Here's King Leonidas again. What are you going to tell your troops? Don't hurt yourselves, don't do anything stupid, try not to lose, or something like this. Win for your family and people, be the best you can be, make me proud. Whether you whisper it, speak it, think it, or scream it, it is what it is. Listen to yourself. Are you speaking what is appearing in your life? What is your life unfolding as you speak? Choose your words wisely. Be the better speaker. Here are a few of my affirmations, and with all that I say, I'm going forth with determination. There's so many things we can fix. I enjoy learning and absorbing all cultures and perspectives. Let's have peace so we can have more customers. I build things that help people, and I'm excited to sell. I'm looking forward to it. When someone wants to pick your brain, keep your eyes peeled and watch your head. Whether you whisper it, speak it, think it, or scream it, it is what it is. Since I brought this concept to your attention, I suspect you'll go out there and hear it everywhere. And I'm sure there may be many more examples. You get the idea. Hopefully you'll catch yourself speaking it. You'll catch yourself thinking it. Just notice which came first, your words or your world. You have control of your thoughts. Be mindful of your words. And of course, go for it.